Priya posted in our group chat was a meme about being fine. She wasn't. And now, I'm realizing none of us were. 4 days in Vermont with my college crew should have been nostalgia and wine. Instead, it's becoming a reckoning. Every secret I've kept for 15 years is clawing its way to the surface, and Joel won't stop looking at me like I'm both his salvation and his biggest mistake. The worst part? I want him to look. I want him to see, even if it destroys everything. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from, and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here with me. I know there are a million other things you could be doing on the internet right now, and I truly appreciate you being here. So tell me, how's your day been? Good? Chaotic? Somewhere in between? Drop a comment and let me know. And hey, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned because I've got more daily romance stories coming your way that you absolutely don't want to miss. The rental house smells like pine and regret. I'm standing in the kitchen with my suitcase still by the door, staring at my phone like it might bring Priya back. The group chat, the Fab Five we'd called ourselves with the kind of arrogance only 22-year-olds possess, is frozen on her last message. A dog in sunglasses with the caption, "Me pretending I have my life together," posted at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. She was dead by Thursday morning. I'm Aisha Winters, 41 years old, marketing executive, wife to a man I haven't had a real conversation with in 3 years, mother to twins who think I'm made of schedules and permission slips, Instagram influencer with 47,000 followers who believe I have it all figured out. I post pictures of my breakfast like it's art. I caption sunset photos with inspirational quotes I don't believe. I smile in every photo like my face might crack if I stop. None of them know I cry in my car before I walk into my house. None of them know my husband sleeps in the guest room and hasn't touched me in 8 months. None of them know I'm drowning in debt from maintaining the illusion of success. And until 2 weeks ago, I thought my 4 best friends knew me better than anyone. I was wrong. Aisha. His voice hits me before I turn around, deep and familiar in a way that makes my stomach clench. Joel Richardson stands in the doorway of the kitchen. And God help me, 15 years have been criminally good to him. He's filled out since college, broader shoulders, stronger jaw, the kind of presence that takes up space without trying. His skin is deep brown, smooth except for the shadow of stubble along his jawline. He's wearing a black Henley that fits too well and jeans that hang low on his hips, and I hate that I notice. I hate that I've always noticed. Joel. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. I clutch my phone tighter, using it as an anchor. I didn't hear you come in. Just got here. He moves into the kitchen and suddenly the space feels smaller. He's always had that effect, like gravity shifts when he enters a room. How are you holding up? It's a loaded question. We haven't been alone together in years. Every interaction has been buffered by screens, by distance, by the safety of the group chat where we could perform caring without the messy reality of it. I'm fine, I say automatically. And then I laugh, a bitter, broken sound. Jesus, that's what we all say, isn't it? I'm fine. Priya said it every day. Joel's dark eyes lock on mine, and there's something in them I can't quite name. Pain, yes. Guilt, definitely. But underneath it, something else, something that makes my skin feel too tight. You look tired, he says quietly, and it's not a criticism. It's an observation. It's concern. It's the first time in months anyone has actually looked at me and seen past the filter. I am tired. The honesty slips out before I can stop it. I'm so fucking tired, Joel. He takes a step closer, close enough that I can smell his cologne, something woodsy and clean that makes me think of late nights in college when we'd stay up talking until dawn, the air between us always charged with something we were both too scared to name. When's the last time you slept? His voice has dropped lower, intimate in a way that makes my pulse quicken. I don't know, really slept? Maybe. I trail off because I can't remember. I've been running on coffee and anxiety for so long it's become my baseline. Aisha. The way he says my name, slow, deliberate, like he's tasting it, makes heat pool low in my belly. This is dangerous. This has always been dangerous. You don't have to perform here. Not with me. Don't I? The words come out sharper than I intend, defensive. Isn't that what we've been doing for 15 years? Performing friendship in a chat window while our lives fell apart offline? His jaw tightens. Maybe, but Priya's dead now, and I'm done pretending. The bluntness of it steals my breath. Before I can respond, the front door opens and voices fill the foyer. Simone's laugh, too bright and brittle, and Marcus's deep rumble trying to match her energy. The moment between Joel and me fractures, but his eyes don't leave mine. We need to talk, he says, so quietly I almost miss it. Really talk, before this weekend is over. Joel. I mean it, Aisha. No more screens, no more distance, just us. Simone sweeps into the kitchen before I can respond, all curves and carefully applied makeup that it doesn't quite hide the exhaustion around her eyes. Simone Clark. 40 years old, former architect turned full-time caregiver, single mother to a son with autism after her partner walked out 3 years ago. She posts memes about wine and motherhood, performs chaos like it's charming instead of crushing. Oh my God, this kitchen! She drops her bags and moves to hug me, and I smell wine on her breath even though it's barely noon. Aisha, you look amazing. Seriously, how do you do it? I look like I haven't slept in 5 years. You look beautiful, I say automatically, hugging her back. Over her shoulder, I see Joel watching us, and the intensity in his gaze makes my skin prickle. Marcus enters next. Marcus Thompson, 42, corporate lawyer, carefully pressed shirt and designer watch. He's put on weight since college, carries it in his face and around his middle, but his smile is the same. Except it doesn't reach his eyes anymore. It never does in the group chat either, but I'd convinced myself I was imagining it. This is surreal, Marcus says, looking around at us, being in the same room instead of on a screen. Surreal is one word for it, Joel mutters, and I feel his eyes on me again like a physical touch. We stand there in the kitchen, the four of us, and the weight of Priya's absence is suffocating. She should be here. She should be making inappropriate jokes and organizing drinking games and forcing us to take group photos. Instead, there's just this hollow space where she used to be, and the terrible knowledge that we all missed it. We all watched her drown through our phone screens and convinced ourselves the thumbs-up emoji meant she was okay. So, Simone's voice is too bright again. Should we, I don't know, toast to her, get drunk and cry? What's the protocol for a wake that was supposed to be a reunion? I vote for getting drunk, Marcus says, already moving toward the wine bottles lined up on the counter. Joel hasn't moved. He's still watching me, and I can feel the question hanging between us like smoke. The same question that's been there since we were 21 years old, drunk at a frat party, his hand on my hip and my lips inches from his before someone interrupted and the moment shattered. What if? I turn away from him, from that question, from the heat in his eyes that promises to burn through every carefully constructed lie I've built my life on. Let's drink, I say, reaching for a wine glass. Let's drink and figure out how the hell we let our best friend die alone. But I can feel Joel's gaze on my back, can feel the air between us crackling with 15 years of unfinished business, and I know that before this weekend is over, one of us is going to break. I'm terrified it's going to be me. If you believe real friendship requires more than emojis and filters, drop a like and let me know what you think in the comments below. The first bottle of wine disappears before we even unpack our bags. We're sitting in the living room, a space all exposed beams and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the mountains, and nobody knows what to say. The group chat made us lazy. We forgot how to navigate silence, how to read expressions instead of emojis, how to exist in the same physical space without the safety of a screen to hide behind. Marcus pours the second bottle with hands that shake slightly. So, he says, clearing his throat, should we talk about it? About Priya? What's there to talk about? Simone's voice has an edge now, the wine stripping away her brightness. She killed herself and none of us saw it coming. Or maybe we saw it and convinced ourselves we were wrong. Either way, she's dead, and we're here, and I don't know what the fuck we're supposed to do with that. The profanity sounds wrong coming from her. In the group chat, Simone's all heart emojis and encouraging gifs. But here, in person, I can see the cracks in her facade, the tremor in her hands, The way she keeps checking her phone like she's waiting for an escape route. She left breadcrumbs, Joel says quietly. He's sitting in the armchair across from me, legs spread, elbows on his knees, staring at the wine glass in his hands like it holds answers. Looking back through the messages, she left breadcrumbs. We just didn't see them. Like what? I ask, even though I don't want to know. I've already scrolled through months of messages, torturing myself with every joke I laughed at, every thumbs up I sent when I should have asked deeper questions. Joel pulls out his phone, starts scrolling. I'm so tired I could sleep for a year. That was 6 months ago. 3 months ago. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to just disappear. 2 months ago. You ever feel like you're screaming and nobody can hear you? He looks up and his eyes are devastated. We all responded with jokes, memes, same girl, same. We treated her pain like it was relatable content. The guilt hits me like a physical blow. I remember those messages. I remember laughing. I remember posting my own version of them when I felt overwhelmed, packaging my suffering as comedy because that's what we did. We performed our breakdowns as entertainment. Stop! Marcus's voice is sharp. We can't do this. We can't sit here and blame ourselves for not being mind readers. Why not? Joel's anger flares hot and sudden, and I see Marcus flinch. We called ourselves best friends. We talked every single day, and none of us knew she was planning to kill herself. What does that say about us? It says we're human, Marcus shoots back. It says we did the best we could with what we knew. Did we, though? Joel stands abruptly, starts pacing. The movement makes his body more evident, the way his muscles shift under his shirt, the controlled power in how he moves. I force myself to look away, but not before he catches me watching. Something flashes in his eyes, dark and hungry, and my breath catches. This is wrong. We're here to mourn Priya, not whatever this is that's building between us like a storm. I didn't, I say quietly, and all three of them turn to look at me. I didn't do the best I could. I've been so busy maintaining the illusion of my perfect life that I stopped being real with anyone, including you guys, including myself. Simone leans forward. What are you talking about? Your life is perfect. You and David, the twins, your career, your house is falling apart. The words tumble out before I can stop them, and there's a strange relief in it, like lancing a wound. All of it. My marriage is dead. David and I haven't had sex in 8 months. We barely speak. He sleeps in the guest room. I'm $50,000 in debt from trying to keep up appearances, the right clothes, the right vacations, the right everything for Instagram. The twins think I'm a robot who exists to manage their schedules, and I'm so lonely I could scream, but instead I post pictures of my breakfast and pretend everything is fine. The silence that follows is deafening. I can't look at any of them. I've just shattered the image I've spent 15 years cultivating, and I don't know if I feel liberated or terrified. Jesus, Aisha, Simone's voice is soft. I had no idea. Of course you didn't. That was the point. I finally look up and Joel is staring at me with an intensity that makes my skin burn. There's something raw in his expression, something that looks like recognition. Like he understands exactly what it costs to perform happiness while drowning inside. My turn, Marcus says suddenly. The wine has made him reckless. Since we're confessing. He takes a long drink, then sets down his glass with exaggerated care. I'm gay. Have been my whole life, but I'm married to a woman I don't love, father to children I adore but who don't really know me, and I've been living a double life for so long I don't know which version is real anymore. The confession lands like a grenade. Simone gasps. I feel my jaw drop, but it's Joel who speaks first. Marcus? Don't. Marcus holds up a hand. Don't say you're sorry or that it's okay or any of the supportive friend bullshit. I've been lying to you for 20 years. I've been lying to everyone. And you know what the worst part is? Priya knew. She figured it out 2 years ago, caught me at a bar with a man, and instead of judging me, she just held my hand and told me she loved me. She was the only person in my life who knew the truth, and now she's gone, and I have to go back to pretending. The pain in his voice is visceral. I want to hug him, but I don't know if he wants to be touched. We've forgotten how to comfort each other with more than crying emojis and heart reactions. You don't have to pretend, Simone says fiercely. Not with us. Not anymore. Don't I? Marcus laughs bitterly. We've all been pretending. That's what we do. That's what killed Priya. The performance of being okay when none of us were. Joel moves suddenly, crossing to the window. His shoulders are tense, his hands shoved in his pockets. When he speaks, his voice is low and rough. I've been high for 3 years. My heart stops. Not drunk. High. Pills, mostly. Started with a prescription for anxiety after a panic attack at work. Then I couldn't sleep without them. Couldn't get through presentations. Couldn't face another day of being Joel the success story, Joel who made it, Joel who has his shit together. So I took more. And more. And now I take them every day just to feel normal, and I'm pretty sure I'm an addict, and I'm terrified if I stop, I'll fall apart completely. He turns to face us, and the vulnerability in his expression makes my chest ache. This is the Joel I remember from college, the one who'd let his guard down at 3 a.m., who'd admit to being scared and lost and human. Not the polished version he presents to the world. Joel. I'm on my feet before I realize I'm moving, crossing to him. I can see Simone and Marcus watching us, but I don't care. I reach for his hand, and when our skin touches, electricity shoots up my arm. His fingers close around mine immediately, grip almost desperate. I'm sorry, he has, and his eyes are locked on mine. I'm sorry I wasn't there for Priya. I'm sorry I've been too fucked up to be there for any of you. I'm sorry I've wasted 15 years being too scared to tell you. He stops abruptly, jaw clenching, and I know what he's not saying. I can feel it in the way his thumb brushes across my knuckles, in the way his breath has gone shallow, in the heat radiating between our bodies. Tell me what? My voice comes out barely above a whisper. His free hand comes up to cup my face, and I should step back. I should remember my marriage, my life, all the reasons this is a terrible idea, but his palm is warm against my cheek, and I've been cold for so long. That I've been in love with you since we were 21 years old, he says, and the world tilts. That every time you posted a picture with David, I wanted to put my fist through a wall. That I've spent 15 years pretending to be your friend when what I really wanted was to... Joel. His name is a warning, a plea, a prayer. I know. His thumb traces my lower lip, and I forget how to breathe. I know you're married. I know this is wrong. I know we're here because our friend is dead and we're all falling apart. But I'm done lying. About the pills, about my life, about this, about us. There is no us, I say, but even I don't believe it. Isn't there? He's so close now I can feel his breath on my lips. Hasn't there always been? Behind us, Simone clears her throat. Should we give you 2 minutes? I jerk back from Joel like I've been burned, reality crashing back in. My face is hot, my heart is racing. Marcus and Simone are staring at us with expressions I can't quite read. Surprise, concern, maybe something like understanding. No, I press my hands to my flushed cheeks. No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. Don't, Joel's voice is rough. Don't apologize for being honest. We've done enough pretending. Simone stands, wrapping her arms around herself. Guess it's my turn then. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. My son's father left 3 years ago, said he couldn't handle it anymore. The therapy appointments, the meltdowns, the reality that our child would never be what he expected. So he left, and I've been doing it alone ever since. Working from home when I can get work, which isn't often, burning through savings, performing competence on social media while I'm barely keeping us fed. Some days I lock myself in the bathroom and cry until I can't breathe because I'm so tired and so alone and so fucking angry that this is my life. She's crying now, mascara streaming down her face, and suddenly we're all moving toward her. Me, Marcus, Joel, wrapping her in our arms, holding her together because she's been holding herself together alone for too long. We sink to the floor in a pile of grief and wine and confessions, and for the first time in 15 years, we're real with each other. No filters, no performance. Just 4 broken people who loved a fifth and failed her. But as we sit there in the wreckage of our pretenses, I can feel Joel's hand on my back, can feel the way his fingers press into my spine like he's trying to memorize the shape of me. And I know that before this weekend is over, we're going to have to face what we've been running from since college. The question isn't whether we'll break. It's whether we'll survive what comes after. We drink until the confession well runs dry, until we're sprawled across the living room like wreckage from a storm. Marcus is asleep on the couch, snoring softly. Simone excused herself an hour ago, claiming exhaustion, but really needing to check on her son via video call. That leaves me and Joel, and the space between us feels like a live wire. He's sitting on the floor with his back against the armchair, long legs stretched out, wine glass dangling from his fingers. I'm curled up on the other end of the couch, trying not to stare at the way his Henley is ridden up slightly, revealing a strip of taut brown skin above his waistband. "Stop looking at me like that," he says without opening his eyes, and my face goes hot. "I'm not looking at you any kind of way." "Yes, you are." Now he does open his eyes, and the heat in them makes my stomach flip. "You've been looking at me like that since we were in college, Aisha. Like you want something, but you're too scared to take it." "That's not," I start, but he cuts me off. "Do you remember sophomore year, that party at Kappa House?" My breath catches. Of course I remember. It's seared into my memory like a brand, the taste of cheap beer in his cologne, the way his hand felt on my hip, the heat of his body pressed against mine in that crowded hallway. We'd been dancing, grinding really, his mouth at my ear saying things that made my whole body ache. And then his roommate had appeared, needing him for something, and the moment shattered. By the next day, I'd started dating David, and Joel never mentioned it again. "We were drunk," I say weakly. "I wasn't that drunk." He sets down his wine glass and shifts, moving closer, not touching, but close enough that I can feel the heat radiating off him. I knew exactly what I was doing, what I wanted to do. "Joel." It comes out breathless, a warning that sounds more like an invitation. "Tell me you don't feel it," he challenges, voice low and rough. "Tell me you don't lie awake at night wondering what would have happened if I'd kissed you that night. Tell me you don't think about it when you're in bed with your husband, wishing it was me touching you instead." Stop. But I don't move away. I should. I should stand up and walk out of this room and remember my vows, my children, my life. Instead, I'm frozen, caught in the gravity of him. I can't stop, Aisha. I've been stopping for 20 years, and look where it got us. Priya's dead. We're all miserable. We've wasted so much time pretending to be people we're not, wanting things we're too scared to reach for. I'm married, I say, but even I can hear how hollow it sounds. Are you? He leans in closer, and I can smell the wine on his breath, the scent of him. Soap and something darker, more masculine. Because from what you said earlier, it sounds like you're just two strangers sharing a house and a last name. The truth of it hits like a slap. He's right. David and I haven't been a real marriage in years. We're roommates who occasionally argue about whose turn it is to pick up the dry cleaning. I can't remember the last time he looked at me the way Joel is looking at me right now. Like I'm water in a desert. Like I'm something worth burning for. It's not that simple, I whisper. It could be. His hand comes up, fingers ghosting along my jawline, and I shiver. It could be exactly that simple if we let it. And then what? We have an affair? Blow up our lives? For what, a weekend of pretending we're 21 again? His jaw tightens. Is that what you think this is? Some midlife crisis fantasy? Isn't it? No. The word comes out fierce. This is me finally being honest about the fact that I have loved you for 20 years. That every relationship I've had has failed because I was comparing them to you. That I built a successful career and an impressive life, and none of it means shit. Because at the end of the day, I'm still that kid at a college party who didn't have the balls to kiss you when he had the chance. My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it. Joel, I'm not asking you to leave your husband tonight. I'm not asking you to make any grand gestures. I'm just asking you to be honest, with me, with yourself. Do you feel it? This thing between us? I close my eyes because looking at him makes it harder to think, harder to remember all the reasons this is wrong. But closing my eyes makes it worse, because then I can only feel the warmth of his hand still cupping my face, the electricity where our knees are almost touching, the way my body is leaning toward his like he's magnetic north and I've lost my compass. Yes, I breathe. God help me. Yes, I feel it. His sharp intake of breath is the only warning I get before his mouth is on mine, and, oh God, it's everything I've imagined and nothing like I expected. He kisses like he's drowning, and I'm air, deep and desperate and demanding. His hand slides into my hair, angling my head to deepen the kiss. And I'm lost. My hands fist in his shirt, pulling him closer, and he groans against my mouth, a sound so raw and needy it sends heat flooding through me. This is wrong. This is so wrong. But his tongue is stroking against mine, and his free hand is spanning my waist, burning through the thin fabric of my blouse, and I haven't felt wanted like this in years, maybe ever. David's kisses had been pleasant, comfortable. This is combustion. Joel breaks away, breathing hard, resting his forehead against mine. Jesus, Aisha. We can't. Even as I say it, my fingers are still twisted in his shirt, holding him close. I know. This is crazy. We're grieving and drunk and I've wanted to do that since I was 21 years old, he finishes. His thumb strokes my cheekbone, gentle in contrast to the intensity of that kiss. Tell me you regret it. Tell me it was a mistake, and I'll never touch you again. I should say the words that will put this back in the box where it's lived for 2 decades. But my lips are still tingling, my body is still humming, and I'm so tired of lying. I can't, I whisper. I can't tell you that. The look he gives me is pure heat, pure want, pure Joel finally unleashed. Then what do you want, Aisha? Right now, in this moment, what do you want? I stop because what I want is terrifying. I want him to kiss me again. I want his hands on my skin. I want to forget about my failing marriage and my debt and my performance of perfection. I want to be reckless and selfish and real for the first time in years. I want him. Say it, he demands, voice rough. I want you, I breathe, and his eyes go dark. Here? Now? With Marcus 10 feet away? The reminder of where we are, what we're doing, should douse the fire. Instead, it adds an edge of danger that makes my pulse race faster. Your room? 5 minutes. He stares at me for a long moment, searching my face for doubt. You're sure? No. I'm not sure of anything except that if I don't feel his hands on me soon, I might actually lose my mind. 5 minutes, I repeat. He stands in one fluid motion, all controlled power and barely restrained want. He looks down at me, jaw tight, eyes blazing. Don't make me wait, Aisha. I've waited long enough. Then he's gone, moving silently up the stairs, and I'm left breathless on the couch with my heart racing and my mind screaming that this is a mistake. But my body doesn't care about mistakes. My body is already moving, already following him. I pause at the foot of the stairs, looking back at Marcus still sleeping peacefully, at the empty wine bottles and scattered confessions. We came here to mourn Priya, to figure out how we failed her. But maybe part of that is finally being honest about what we want, what we need, instead of performing happiness while we suffer in the silence. Or maybe I'm just rationalizing because I want Joel so badly I can taste it. I climb the stairs, each step feeling both inevitable and impossible. The hallway is dark except for a sliver of light under Joel's door. My hand hovers over the handle, my last chance to walk away, to choose safety over chaos. I turn the handle. Joel is standing by the window, silhouetted against the moonlight, and when he turns to look at me, the raw hunger in his expression steals my breath. He doesn't move, doesn't speak, just watches as I close the door behind me and lock it with a quiet click. Last chance, he says, voice rough. You can still walk away. I should turn around and go to my room and forget this ever happened. Instead, I cross to him, my hands finding the hem of his shirt. I don't want to walk away. Aisha. My name is a groan as I pull his shirt over his head, revealing hard muscle and smooth brown skin. If we do this. Stop talking, I breathe, rising on my toes to kiss him again, and this time there's no hesitation, no holding back. His hands are everywhere, my hair, my waist, sliding up my ribs to cup my breasts through my blouse. I gasp against his mouth, arching into his touch, and he backs me toward the bed. We fall together in a tangle of desperate kisses and fumbling hands, 20 years of want finally unleashed. His mouth trails down my neck, teeth scraping gently, and I'm drowning in sensation, in him, in the reckless joy of finally taking what I want. Tell me this is real, he demands against my collarbone. Tell me this isn't just grief or wine or... It's real, I gasp as his hand slides under my blouse, palm hot against my bare skin. Joel, it's real. It's always been real. He groans, capturing my mouth again, and I'm lost. Everything, my marriage, my perfect life, my carefully constructed lies, falls away until there's only this. His body against mine, his hands learning the shape of me, the exquisite rightness of finally giving in. Somewhere in the house, a door closes. We both freeze, breathing hard, staring at each other in the darkness. Reality crashes back in, what we're doing, where we are, all the ways this will complicate everything. We should stop, Joel says, but his hand is still splayed across my ribs, his thumb brushing the underside of my breast. We should, I agree, but I'm pulling him back down to me. Because we spent 20 years being careful, being good, being everything we're supposed to be. And where did it get us? Priya's dead. We're all broken. And I'm so tired of denying what I want. So I let myself want, let myself take, let myself burn. Tomorrow, we'll deal with the ashes. If you believe some desires are worth the destruction they bring, show me some love in the comments and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I wake up tangled in Joel's sheets, his arm heavy across my waist, and for one perfect moment, I forget everything except the feel of him. Warm skin, steady breathing, the ache in my body that reminds me exactly what we did last night. Multiple times. Then reality hits like ice water. I'm in Joel's bed. I cheated on my husband. I'm 41 years old with 2 children and a mortgage, and I just blew up my entire life for a man I convinced myself I was over 20 years ago. Joel stirs behind me, his arm tightening, pulling me closer against his chest. His lips brush my shoulder, and despite everything, desire sparks hot and immediate. Don't, he murmurs against my skin, voice rough with sleep. I can hear you thinking. Don't do it yet. Joel, just give me 5 more minutes, 5 minutes where you don't regret this. His hand splays across my stomach, possessive and tender, and my eyes sting with sudden tears because this easy intimacy is what I've been missing, what I've been craving without knowing how to name it. I don't regret it, I whisper, and I'm horrified to realize it's true. I should be drowning in guilt. Instead, I feel more alive than I have in years. Good. He presses a kiss to my neck and I shiver. Because I meant what I said. I love you, Aisha. I'm in love with you. And I'm not sorry we finally did something about it. My phone buzzes on the nightstand, a sharp intrusion of the real world. I reach for it with dread pooling in my stomach. But it's not David. It's the group chat. Simone has posted a message. Coffee's ready downstairs. We need to talk about the memorial service and whatever the hell happened last night because the sexual tension at breakfast is going to be awkward. Oh God, she knows. Of course she knows. I wasn't exactly quiet. Joel reads over my shoulder and laughs, a deep, satisfied sound that makes me want to hit him and kiss him in equal measure. Guess we're not as sneaky as we thought. This isn't funny. I try to pull away, but he holds me tighter. It's a little funny. He nips at my earlobe and I gasp. Come on, Aisha. When's the last time you did something just because you wanted to? Something wild and selfish and completely irresponsible? Never, I admit. I've spent my entire adult life being responsible, being the good wife, the good mother, the good friend who has her shit together. And how's that working out for you? The question lands like a punch. I think about my debt, my dead bedroom, my children who see me as a schedule coordinator rather than a person. My best friend who killed herself while I was posting inspirational quotes on Instagram. Point taken, I mutter. He finally releases me, and I immediately miss his warmth. I sit up, clutching the sheet to my chest even though he's already seen and touched and tasted every inch of me. The morning light is less forgiving than moonlight, and I'm suddenly aware of my age, my body, all the ways I don't measure up to the filtered version of myself I present to the world. Joel sits up behind me, and I feel his hand trace the curve of my spine. You're beautiful, he says quietly, like he can read my thoughts. You were beautiful at 21, and you're beautiful now. Stop comparing yourself to an Instagram filter. How do you... Because I know you. His arms come around me from behind, chin resting on my shoulder. I've known you for 20 years, Aisha. The real you, not the performance. I lean back against him, just for a moment, letting myself have this. Then I force myself to stand to start gathering my scattered clothes. My blouse is wrinkled beyond repair. My hair is a disaster. I look exactly like what I am, a woman who spent the night being thoroughly ravaged by a man who isn't her husband. I need to shower, I say, not looking at him. I need to, I don't know, figure out what the hell I'm doing. You're living, Joel says simply. Maybe for the first time in years. I want to argue, but I can't. Because he's right. Last night, in his arms, I felt more myself than I have in a decade. No performance, no pretense, just raw want and honest need, and the terrifying freedom of finally admitting what I've always felt. I slip out of his room and practically run to mine, praying I don't encounter Marcus or Simone in the hallway. I make it safely and lock myself in the bathroom, bracing my hands on the sink and staring at my reflection. My lips are swollen. There's a mark on my neck that I'll have to cover with makeup. My eyes are bright with something that looks dangerously like happiness. I look like a woman in love. The realization makes my knees weak. This isn't just lust or rebellion or a midlife crisis. This is the thing I've been running from since college, the truth I've buried under marriage and motherhood and the safety of distance. I'm in love with Joel Richardson. I've always been in love with Joel Richardson. And I have absolutely no idea what to do about it. The shower is scalding, but I stand under it until my skin is pink and pruned, trying to wash away the evidence. It doesn't work. I can still feel his hands on me, still taste him, still hear the things he whispered in the dark that made me come apart in his arms. When I finally emerge, dressed and carefully made up to hide the evidence of last night, I steel myself for the walk downstairs. The smell of coffee draws me to the kitchen, where I find all three of them waiting. Marcus is at the table, looking exhausted, but somehow lighter than yesterday. Simone is at the counter pouring coffee with a knowing smirk. And Joel is leaning against the doorframe, watching me with eyes that hold promises and threats in equal measure. "Good morning," Simone says sweetly. "Sleep well?" My face goes nuclear. Simone. "Oh, please, these walls are not that thick." She hands me a coffee mug. "Also, good for you. It's about damn time." "Excuse me?" I sputter. Marcus laughs. "Aisha, we've all known you two have been in love with each other since junior year. Priya used to bet money on when you'd finally do something about it." The mention of Priya's name sobers us all. We fall silent, and the weight of why we're really here crashes back down. We're not here for reunions or confessions or hookups. We're here because our friend is dead, and we need to figure out how to say goodbye. "She'd be happy," Joel says quietly, still watching me. "About us. She told me once that life was too short to waste on fear, that we should take what we want while we can." "She said something similar to me," Marcus adds, "after she found out about everything. She said hiding who you are is just a slower form of suicide." The words hang heavy in the air. Simone's eyes fill with tears. "She tried to tell us," Simone whispers. In her own way, she kept posting about authenticity, about being real, about how exhausting it was to perform happiness, and we all just hit like and moved on. "We can't change what we did or didn't see," I say, moving to sit at the table. Joel follows, taking the seat next to me, and his knee presses against mine under the table, a secret contact that sends electricity through me. "But we can make sure her death means something. We can stop performing, stop hiding." "What does that look like for you?" Marcus asks, and there's a challenge in his voice. "Are you going to leave your husband? Blow up your Instagram perfect life for real?" Ooh, the question is fair, and I don't have an answer, because the truth is complicated. I have children to consider, a life I've built, even if it's been on a foundation of lies. Walking away isn't as simple as just wanting Joel, no matter how much I do. "I don't know," I admit. "I don't know what happens next. But I know I can't go back to pretending. Not with David. Not with myself." Joel's hand finds mine under the table, fingers lacing together, and the gesture feels more intimate than anything we did in the dark. This is daylight honesty. This is choosing each other in front of witnesses. "We need to plan the memorial," Simone says, pulling us back to task. That's why we're here, to honor Priya, to say the things we didn't say when she was alive. We spend the next 2 hours planning. A small ceremony by the lake behind the house, just the four of us. We'll each share a memory, a truth, an apology. We'll scatter her ashes in the water she loved. We'll try to forgive ourselves for failing her, even though none of us are sure forgiveness is possible. But underneath the planning, there are other currents flowing. Marcus keeps glancing at his phone, jaw tight, and I realize he's texting someone, probably the man he's been hiding. Simone's brittle brightness has softened into something more genuine, more tired. And Joel and I keep finding excuses to touch, a hand on my back as he passes, my fingers brushing his arm, knees pressed together under the table. It feels like we're all on the edge of something, like Priya's death has cracked us open, and now everything we've been holding back is spilling out. I'm leaving my wife, Marcus says suddenly, and we all freeze. After this, after we go home, I'm done living a lie. Priya was right. Hiding who I am is killing me. Maybe not as fast as pills or a rope, but just as surely. Marcus, Simone starts. No, he shakes his head. I've made my decision. My kids deserve a father who's honest about who he is. My wife deserves a husband who actually wants her, and I deserve to stop hating myself every time I look in the mirror. The conviction in his voice is absolute. Joel squeezes my hand tighter. I'm telling my ex to fuck off, Simone announces, emboldened by Marcus's confession. He wants to see our son now, after 3 years. He can go through lawyers and pay the back child support he owes. I'm done making it easy for people who don't deserve it. Done pretending I'm fine when I'm drowning. They both look at me and Joel, waiting. The pressure to declare our intentions is suffocating. I'm willing to tell my husband I want a divorce, I hear myself say, and Joel's sharp intake of breath tells me he wasn't expecting that. Hell, I wasn't expecting it, but now that I've said it, I know it's true. Not because of Joel, because of me, because I've been dead inside for years, and I deserve to feel alive. Joel turns to me, eyes searching. Aisha. Don't. I squeeze his hand. Don't make promises. Don't make plans. Let's just see what happens when we're being honest. When we're not hiding behind screens or performances or fear. He nods slowly, and I can see the war in his expression, hope and terror and love all tangled together. The memorial is at sunset, Simone says softly. We should probably figure out what we're going to say to her. We scatter to our rooms to write, to think, to prepare for the impossible task of saying goodbye to someone we loved but never really knew. Or maybe someone we knew too well, but never saved. I'm halfway up the stairs when Joel catches my wrist, pulls me back. His kiss is quick but devastating, full of promise and desperation. Whatever happens, he whispers against my lips, I don't regret last night. I don't regret this. I don't regret you. Neither do I breathe back and mean it, even if it destroys everything. Especially if it destroys everything. The lake is mirror still at sunset, reflecting pink and gold across its surface like spilled paint. We stand at the water's edge, 4 people who thought they knew each other, now strangers learning to be real. The urn containing Priya's ashes sits on a flat rock between us, and none of us can look at it directly. It's too final, too real. Marcus goes first. He's changed into a suit, the lawyer in him needing the armor of formality. But his voice cracks when he speaks. Priya knew me, the real me. She saw me at my lowest, drunk at a gay bar, crying because I couldn't reconcile who I was with who I was supposed to be. And instead of judgment, she just held my hand. She said, Marcus, baby, the only sin is wasting the life you have pretending to be someone you're not. He wipes his eyes roughly. I didn't listen. I kept pretending. And now she's gone, and I can't tell her she was right. I can't thank her for being the only person brave enough to see me and love me anyway. His voice breaks completely, and Simone moves to him, wrapping him in her arms. They hold each other while Marcus sobs, ugly, wrenching sounds that seem torn from somewhere deep and raw. Simone goes next. She's makeup-free for the first time since we arrived, and she looks younger, more vulnerable. Priya used to text me at 2 a.m. when I'd post about how hard parenting was. Not with advice or platitudes, just, I see you. You're doing better than you think. I thought she understood because she was empathetic. I didn't realize, her voice catches. I didn't realize she understood because she was also drowning, because she was also screaming into the void, hoping someone would hear, and I was too buried in my own shit to hear her back. She picks up a handful of sand, lets it slip through her fingers. I'm sorry, Pry. I'm sorry I performed my struggles as comedy instead of asking for real help. I'm sorry I didn't ask if you needed real help. I'm sorry we loved each other through screens and thought it was enough. Joel steps forward next, and I can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands clench and unclench at his sides. When he speaks, his voice is low and rough. Priya called me 3 weeks before she died. The confession makes us all go still. She said she was thinking about checking into rehab, asked if I'd ever considered it. I laughed it off, said I had my shit under control, that I wasn't that bad. And she just went quiet. Then she said, Joel, we're all that bad. We're all dying in slow motion, and none of us want to admit it. His jaw works, and I can see him fighting for composure. I should have heard her, should have asked why she was talking about rehab, what she was really saying. But I was too busy defending my own denial to see hers. I was too fucked up to help her get unfucked up, and now, his voice cracks, now I have to live with knowing she reached out and I failed her. I move to him instinctively, taking his hand. He grips it like a lifeline, and when he looks at me, his eyes are devastated. I'm checking into rehab, he says, not just to me but to all of us. Next week, 30 days, maybe more. I can't do this anymore. The pills, the performance, the slow suicide. Priya was right. I'm dying in slow motion, and I need to stop before I end up like her. Joel, my voice is thick with tears, and I'm trying not to shed. I know. He brings my hand to his lips, presses a kiss to my knuckles. I know the timing is shit. I know we just found each other. But if I don't do this now, there might not be a later. He's right, and I hate it. But I'm also proud of him. Terrified and heartbroken and proud in equal measure. Then it's my turn. I step forward, looking down at the urn, and suddenly, I'm furious. Furious at Priya for leaving us. Furious at myself for not seeing. Furious at all of us for wasting so much time on performance and pretense. I'm angry at you, I say to the ashes, voice shaking. I'm so fucking angry, Priya. You were supposed to be here. You were supposed to see me finally get my shit together. You were supposed to meet me for real, not just through a screen. And you robbed us of that. You robbed yourself of that. The tears come hot and fast now, and I don't try to stop them. But I'm also angry at me, because you left breadcrumbs, and I was too busy curating my fake-ass life to follow them. You posted about being tired, and I sent you a coffee emoji. You said you wanted to disappear, and I made a joke. You were screaming, and I gave you a thumbs-up reaction. I sink to my knees in the sand, and Joel kneels beside me immediately, his arm around my shoulders. I'm sorry I wasn't the friend you needed. I'm sorry I was too caught up in my own performance to see yours falling apart. I'm sorry you died alone, thinking none of us cared enough to see you. Because I did care. I do care. I just didn't know how to be real anymore. My voice drops to a whisper. I'm going to try to be real now, for you, for me. I'm going to stop performing and start living. I'm going to feel everything, the mess and the pain and the joy, instead of filtering it all through a phone screen. I'm going to be brave enough to want things, to take things, to be honest about who I am and what I need. I look at Joel, then Marcus, then Simone. We all are, right? That's what we owe her. To stop killing ourselves slowly, to stop hiding behind digital walls, to be messy and real and alive. Yes, Marcus says firmly. Yes, Simone echoes. Joel helps me to my feet, and the four of us stand in a circle around Priya's ashes. We link hands, and for a moment we're 21 again, the Fab Five, invincible and forever. Except we're not five anymore. We're four, and we're broken, and we're finally honest about it. Marcus opens the urn. We each take a handful of ash, all that remains of our friend, our witness, our wake-up call. And together, we scatter her into the lake, watching as the water carries her away, mixing her with something larger and more permanent than our fragile, temporary lives. The sun sinks below the horizon and darkness falls. But we stay there by the water, holding hands, mourning and healing and breaking and rebuilding all at once. Eventually, we make our way back to the house. The air has changed between us, less performance, more presence. We build a fire in the fireplace and sit around it with wine and silence, letting grief settle into our bones. What happens now? Simone asks quietly, when we go back to our real lives. We stay in touch, Marcus says, but really in touch, not just memes and emojis, real conversations, phone calls, video chats where we actually talk instead of performing. We check on each other, I add. Actually check. How are you really? Not just how are you. Oh, we don't let each other disappear into silence, Joel says, his hand finding mine again in the firelight. If someone goes quiet, we show up, in person. No more assuming everything's fine just because someone posts a smiling selfie. We make a pact there by the fire, a real one. Not a pinky promise or a group chat declaration, but a bone-deep commitment to being present for each other, to being honest with each other, to never again letting performance substitute for actual intimacy. Around midnight, Marcus and Simone head to bed. Marcus hugs me before he goes, and I can feel the difference in him. Something settled, something resolved. Simone squeezes my hand and whispers, "Don't let fear win," before disappearing upstairs. Then it's just me and Joel, and the weight of everything unsaid. "So," he says, pulling me into his lap on the couch, and I go willingly, curling against his chest. 30 days in rehab, then what? Then you get sober, I say, tracing patterns on his chest. You get healthy, you figure out who Joel is without the pills. And you? I file for divorce. I figure out my finances. I have some very uncomfortable conversations with my children. I tilt my head back to look at him. I stop performing and start living. And us? His hand slides up my spine, familiar and possessive. What happens to us? It's the question I've been avoiding all day, because the truth is complicated and messy and nothing like a romance novel ending. I don't know, I admit. You're going to be in rehab for a month. I'm going to be navigating a divorce. We both have work to do on ourselves before we can be good for each other. That sounds like a very mature, responsible answer, Joel says, and there's humor in his voice. I hate it. I laugh despite myself. What do you want me to say? That we'll ride off into the sunset together? That love conquers all? Maybe. His hand cups my face, thumb stroking my cheekbone. Is that so crazy? Joel. I press my hand over his. I'm 41 years old. I have 2 teenagers, a mountain of debt, and a failed marriage to untangle. You're about to spend 30 days facing your demons. This isn't a fairy tale. No, he agrees. It's better. It's real. He kisses me then, slow and deep and full of promise. Not the desperate hunger of last night, but something more profound. Something that feels like commitment, like choice, like the beginning of something instead of the end. When we break apart, he rests his forehead against mine. I'll wait, he says quietly. However long it takes for you to be ready, for us to be ready. I've waited 20 years. I can wait a little longer. What if we're not meant to work? I ask, voicing the fear that's been gnawing at me. What if this was just grief and nostalgia and... It's not. His voice is absolute. This is real, Aisha. What we feel, what we are together. Maybe the timing is shit. Maybe we have work to do. But this, he kisses me again. This is real. I want to believe him. God, I want to believe him. But I'm scared of failing, of hurting him, of blowing up my life for something that might not survive the transition from weekend escape to daily reality. I love you, I say instead, because that much I know is true. I'm terrified and confused, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I love you. I've loved you for 20 years. His smile is beautiful and broken and real. That's enough for now. Love and honesty. The rest we'll figure out. We stay on that couch until the fire dies to embers, talking about everything and nothing. Our fears, our hopes, our memories of Priya. He tells me about the moment he knew he was an addict. I tell him about the night I realized my marriage was over. We strip away the performance, layer by layer, until we're just two people who love each other and are brave enough to admit it. Eventually, we make our way upstairs to his bed. But this time, we don't tear at each other with desperate need. This time, we undress slowly, tenderly, learning each other in the darkness with gentle hands and whispered promises. This time, when he moves inside me, it feels less like combustion and more like coming home. After, we lie tangled together, my head on his chest, his fingers tracing idle patterns on my shoulder. 30 days, he murmurs. Then I'm coming for you, for real. No more half measures, no more waiting. Okay, I whisper, even though I don't know if I'll be ready. Even though everything about this is uncertain. But maybe that's the point. Maybe love isn't about certainty or perfect timing or Instagram-worthy moments. Maybe it's about being brave enough to choose each other despite the mess, about being honest enough to admit you're broken and believing someone might love you anyway. Priya knew that. She tried to tell us. And now, lying in Joel's arms with dawn creeping through the windows, I finally understand what she meant. Life is short, love is rare, and performing happiness while dying inside is the cruelest waste of all. So I'm going to stop performing. I'm going to start living. Even if it's messy, even if it's hard, even if it means burning down everything I've built and starting over. Because some things, some people, are worth the fire. 3 months later, and reality is nothing like the movie version. I'm sitting in my car outside a coffee shop in downtown Atlanta, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles are white. Through the window, I can see Joel at a corner table, and my heart does that stupid flutter it's been doing since I was 21 years old. He's early. Of course he is. He's been sober for 73 days, and punctuality is apparently one of the side effects of not being high all the time. He looks different. Leaner, sharper, more present somehow. His eyes are clear in a way they haven't been in years, and there's a stillness to him that's both familiar and entirely new. He's scrolling through his phone, and even from here, I can see the tension in his shoulders. He's nervous too. We haven't seen each other since Vermont. We've talked, long phone calls at midnight where we're both too honest and not honest enough, video chats where the connection lags and we're left staring at frozen images of each other, caught between words. Text messages that feel simultaneously too much and not enough. But we haven't touched, haven't kissed, haven't tested whether what we felt in that Vermont cabin can survive the harsh light of our real lives. My phone buzzes. It's him. I can see you sitting in your car. Come inside before I come out there and drag you in. Despite my nerves, I smile. I take a breath, check my makeup in the mirror, less perfect than it used to be, more real, and force myself out of the car. The divorce papers are in my purse, signed by David 3 days ago with a resignation that hurt less than I expected. The twins know. They're angry, confused, seeing a therapist twice a week to process their mother's sudden decision to blow up their stable life. My Instagram is private now, my follower count irrelevant. I'm rebuilding from scratch, new apartment, new budget, new understanding of who I am when I'm not performing. It's terrifying and liberating in equal measure. Joel stands when I enter, and the smile that breaks across his face is worth every difficult conversation, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt. I cross to him, and when he pulls me into his arms, I finally breathe properly for the first time in months. "Hi," he murmurs against my hair. "Hi," I breathe back, and it's inadequate for everything I'm feeling. We sit, and for a moment we just look at each other, taking inventory, seeing what's changed and what's stayed the same. "You look good," I say finally. "Really good." "So do you." His hand finds mine across the table, and the contact sends electricity up my arm. Different, but good. Different how? "Real," he says simply. "Like, you're actually here instead of performing being here." It's the most accurate description anyone's given of how I feel. Like I've stepped out of a movie of my own life and into the actual messy, complicated reality of it. "How's rehab?" I ask, even though we've talked about it on the phone. But hearing it in person feels different. Hard. Necessary. He traces patterns on my palm with his thumb, and the gesture is both soothing and arousing. "I'm in outpatient now. Meetings twice a week, therapy 3 times a week. I'm learning why I needed the pills in the first place. Control, anxiety, the pressure of success, all the shit I thought I could handle alone. Are you okay? The question feels inadequate, but I need to know. Some days, his honesty is refreshing. Some days I want to crawl out of my own skin, but I'm not using. I'm feeling everything, and it's, Jesus, Aisha, it's a lot, but it's real. And real is better than numb. I squeeze his hand. I'm proud of you. Yeah? His eyes search mine. Even though I'm a mess, even though I'm rebuilding everything from the ground up? Especially because of that, I lean forward. Joel, we're all rebuilding. That's the point. He exhales slowly, and I can see some of the tension leave his shoulders. How are the twins? And just like that, we're in it. The hard conversation, the reality check. They're angry, I admit. At me, mostly. David's playing the victim, poor abandoned husband, which isn't helping. Jasmine won't talk to me except in one-word answers. Jordan asked if this was because of a man, and I stopped because I told my son the truth. That yes, there was a man, but no, that wasn't why. That I would have left regardless because I was dying inside the marriage. He didn't believe me. Shit, Joel says quietly. Yeah. I pull my hand back, wrapping both around my coffee cup. They need time. The therapist says they'll adjust, but right now, I'm the villain in their story, the mom who destroyed their family for selfish reasons. Aisha. And maybe they're right. The words come out sharp, defensive. Maybe I am selfish. Maybe I should have stayed, for them. Made it work somehow. And died inside slowly until you ended up like Priya. Joel's voice is gentle but firm. That's not selfish, baby. That's survival. Baby. The endearment hits different in person, makes this real in a way our phone calls haven't been. Tell me about you, I say, needing to shift focus. Work, life, everything I don't know from 3 a.m. phone calls. He leans back, and I can see him choosing his words carefully. I took a leave of absence, 3 months. My bosses weren't thrilled, but they didn't have much choice. I told them it was rehab or resignation. I'm going back next week, and I'm terrified I won't be good at my job without the pills, that the success I've built was all chemical. It wasn't, I say with certainty. You're brilliant, Joel. You always have been. The pills were just a crutch, a way to manage anxiety I didn't want to admit I had. He runs a hand over his face. I'm on actual prescribed medication now, Lexapro. It's helping, but it's not a magic fix. I still have to do the work, the therapy, the meetings, the daily choice to stay clean. We sit in silence for a moment, both of us processing. This is what real love looks like, I think. Not the passionate reunion in Vermont, but this, two broken people trying to rebuild themselves while figuring out if they can build something together. I need to tell you something, Joel says, and my stomach drops at his tone. I've been seeing someone. The words hit like a physical blow. My vision narrows, and I can hear my pulse in my ears. What? A therapist, he clarifies quickly, seeing my expression. Christ, Aisha, I'm not dating anyone, but my therapist asked if I'd be willing to do couples counseling, you and me, before we try to make this work, to make sure we're not just trauma bonding or using each other as a replacement for the work we need to do on ourselves. I exhale shakily, embarrassed by my reaction and relieved in equal measure. You want us to go to therapy together? I want us to have a real shot, he says. Not a perfect shot or an easy shot, but a real one. And my therapist thinks, and I agree, that we need to make sure we're choosing each other for the right reasons. That this isn't just grief or nostalgia or running from our problems into each other's arms. It's mature, healthy. Exactly the kind of thing people who are serious about making a relationship work should do. I hate it. What if the therapist says we're not good for each other? The question comes out small, scared. Then we listen. His jaw is tight. As much as it would kill me, we listen. Because I don't want to be another thing you have to recover from, Aisha. I don't want to be a mistake you regret in 5 years when the passion fades and we're left with incompatibility and resentment. You could never be a mistake, I say fiercely. You don't know that. He leans forward, intense. We don't know that. We've loved each other from a distance for 20 years. We had one incredible weekend of honesty and sex and grief. But we don't know if we can make it in the real world, with jobs and kids and addiction recovery and divorce proceedings and all the mundane, difficult shit that kills most relationships. He's right. I know he's right. But hearing it still hurts. Okay, I say quietly. Therapy, together, when? Whenever you're ready. But Aisha, he reaches for my hand again. I need you to know something first. I'm all in. Therapy, distance, your kids hating me, whatever it takes. I've loved you for 20 years, and I'm not walking away now. But I need to know you're all in too. That you're not going to bolt the first time it gets hard or complicated or less romantic than what we had in Vermont. My throat tightens, because he's naming my exact fear, that I'll panic and run, that I'll choose safety over risk, that I'll decide the comfort of loneliness is preferable to the vulnerability of love. I'm scared, I admit. I'm terrified, Joel. What if I'm not good at this? What if I'm too damaged from my marriage? What if I hurt you? Then you hurt me. His thumb strokes across my knuckles. And I'll hurt you. And we'll figure it out because that's what people who love each other do. They stay even when it's hard. They choose each other even when it would be easier to walk away. Tears prick my eyes. When did you get so wise? 73 days sober, he smiles, but it's sad. Turns out when you stop numbing yourself, you have to actually feel things and learn from them. Who knew? I laugh wetly, swiping at my eyes. I love you. God, I love you so much it scares me. Good. He stands, pulling me up with him. Fear means it matters, and this... He cups my face, and I lean into his palm like a flower toward sunlight. This matters more than anything. He kisses me then, right there in the coffee shop with people watching. It's not the desperate passion of Vermont, but something deeper, a promise, a choice, a commitment to try even when the outcome is uncertain. When we break apart, I'm breathing hard, and his eyes are dark with want. Come home with me, he murmurs against my lips. Joel. Just to talk, he clarifies, though the heat in his gaze suggests talking is not his primary interest. I want more time with you, real time, not a phone call or a coffee date, but actual hours where we exist in the same space and figure out if we work. I should say no. I should be responsible and take things slow and not rush into his bed before we've done the therapy and the work and all the sensible things sensible people do. But I've spent 41 years being sensible. And where did it get me? A dead marriage, a dead friend, a half-lived life. Okay, I hear myself say. Let's go. His apartment is smaller than I expected, a one-bedroom in Midtown with minimal furniture and walls that are still mostly bare. I'm redecorating, he explains, seeing my look. Starting over, getting rid of everything that reminds me of who I was when I was using. It's sad and hopeful in equal measure, like him, like me. Like all of us trying to rebuild from rubble. We don't immediately fall into bed. Instead, we sit on his couch, new, he tells me, bought last week, and we talk, really talk, about his recovery and my divorce, about Priya and whether we're honoring her memory or using her death as an excuse, about Marcus, who came out to his family and is dating openly now, fighting for joint custody of his kids, about Simone, who started a blog about special needs parenting and is using her architecture skills to design accessible playgrounds. We talk until the sun sets and the city lights up outside his windows. And somewhere in the talking, we migrate closer until I'm tucked against his side, his arm around me, our bodies fitted together like puzzle pieces that finally found their match. Stay, he says quietly. Just tonight. Just sleep. I want to wake up with you and know this is real. I should go home. I should maintain boundaries. I should... Okay, I whisper, because I'm tired of should. Tired of performing the right answer instead of the honest one. We move to his bedroom, and it's strange and intimate to undress without desperation, to climb into his bed in our underwear with the implicit understanding that sex isn't the goal. We just want proximity, presence, the comfort of another body that knows and chooses ours. He pulls me against his chest and I can hear his heartbeat, steady, strong, real. His hand strokes my hair and I feel safe in a way I haven't in years. Aisha, his voice is quiet in the darkness. Yeah. Thank you for giving us a chance, for being brave enough to try. I turn in his arms, finding his face in the dim light from the window. Thank you for waiting, for being patient with my mess. Your mess is my favorite mess, he murmurs and kisses my forehead. We fall asleep like that, tangled together, breathing in sync, two broken people who love each other enough to try to heal together instead of alone. In the morning, my phone buzzes with messages. The group chat, our real one now, not the performative version. Marcus. Took my boyfriend to meet my kids last night. They were great. I cried for an hour after they left. Happy tears. Simone. My blog hit 10K followers. Someone wants to interview me for a podcast. Priya would have been so proud. And then from Joel's phone next to mine on the nightstand. Aisha stayed over. We're figuring it out, slowly, honestly, the way Pri would have wanted. I add my own message. I'm scared and hopeful and trying. That's enough for now. 3 responses come immediately. Marcus. That's everything. Simone. Love you, babe, you got this. And from Joel, even though he's right next to me, love you, always have, always will. I look over at him, awake now, watching me with soft eyes and a small smile. This man I've loved for 20 years. This man who's broken and healing and choosing me anyway. Morning, he says, voice rough with sleep. Morning, I echo, and lean in to kiss him. It's not a fairy tale ending. We still have therapy to start. I still have children to reconcile with. He still has recovery to navigate. We still have 1,000 difficult conversations ahead of us. But we're here. We're real. We're trying. And maybe that's the point Priya was trying to make all along. That perfect isn't the goal. That Instagram-worthy isn't the goal. That performed happiness is worse than honest struggle. That real love, messy, complicated, uncertain love, is the only kind worth having. So I kiss him deeper, and he pulls me closer, and we start another day of figuring it out together. Not perfect, just real. And real, I'm learning, is more than enough. If you believe real love is worth fighting for, even when it's messy and uncertain, drop a comment telling me what you think and subscribe, because I've got more stories about love, loss, and finding yourself coming your way every single day.